Jared and myself. This is a return guest. Many of you haven't heard her on the program yet. Sorry, I don't want to misgender her right off the bat. We have to be careful with our guests now. We will get letters, but it was an interview that went viral. She got blowback. I got blowback. Former vegan, now advocate of eating, I don't want to say exactly which, but if you type in vegetarian myths, vegan myths, you will find her. Leah Keith, thank you for being on the program.
Well, thanks for having me back.
Well, no, of course, you're always welcome to come back. So we'll talk about a few things, because now that we know each other a little better and we've corresponded a bit, I find that there are some interesting sort of full circles that have been drawn. But you had blowback from coming on the program last time, which seemed like an entirely reasonable interview, talking about your past as a vegan and why you don't advocate veganism. What kind of stuff did you receive?
The first thing, actually, I want to tell you is that I got a lot of really good feedback. That the people who listen to your show or watch your show sent me, I would say, some of the most intelligent emails I've ever received. They were full paragraphs with like opening sentences.
Don't start off this interview with a lie, because I find this incredibly shocking.
Like grammar, they were full-fledged letters over email, which I'm not used to at this point. Everybody just tweets and that's the end of it. But these were
especially
long,
if they're vegans, they don't have the strength to type it all out. Like, I hate.
That's about all. That's about all the brain can do with that. Right?
Yes.
But your listeners were very thoughtful. Your watchers, whatever you want, your audience, they were very thoughtful people, and they had really good questions. And I wasn't able to answer all of them, and I'm sorry for that. But I did answer as many as I could, and they were very engaging people. And I know that on many, many issues we're not going to agree, but I was actually impressed with that. I wasn't expecting that.
Well, I think a big reason is, we have these connections with people like Blake Sargon and Dave Rubin or Ian Milo Yiannopoulos. I've been I don't lie about it. I'm a Christian conservative. I'm probably to the right of Attila Vahan. I'm more libertarian than conservative. But I always believe in a dialogue of more voices, not fewer, regardless of whether I agree on every issue or not. And just because I think that some of your views, I would say, are like wildly incorrect, doesn't mean that you don't have something to offer regarding nutritional science or a story where we can learn. That's how I try to approach it.
Right, and I would also add to that we're all kind of stuck with each other. I mean, we're animals that need habitat, and we are citizens that share a federal government, and many of us even share state and local governments. And, there's this thing that's the political body where there's a commonality that we share, and we have to find a way forward.
Right.
And this is where I don't understand this concept. You don't agree with people, you're not allowed to talk to them. How else are we going to come to agreement? And this, to me, just seems so basic to democracy, to a pluralistic democracy. I don't understand it.
Right.
I can't see another way forward. If we can't at least come to some agreements about how we're going to treat each other and how we're going to treat that common political body, then what are we left with? I mean, like you and people like me are going to cross in the grocery store no matter what. And we've got to find a way to live together without killing each other.
Especially since we're both packing. So we want to be. I know. We got the environmentalist, feminist, firearm owner,
with the bazooka,
and then we got
me,
white privileged cis male scum carrying. Isn't that wonderful? You want everybody carrying. That way I keep her in check. She keeps me in check.
The competition honest.
It keeps it honest. Well, so we talk about veganism, which listen. The people who are going to get mad are invariably. I know you lean more to the left. They're going to be leftist because of the whole veganism culture, and I'm just sorry. It's
a product of the left. There's way more leftists who are into it than
which is funny because you probably have way more conservatives who are farmers and who actually know where their food is coming from, because they're the dumb rednecks out there, and now all the vegans are appropriating their culture, their farm-to-table culture. So that happened. You had thoughtful responses. You emailed me about this event that happened where you had some friends who were talking about privacy, bathroom privacy. Now, you're a feminist. You've been I would argue almost feminist extremist, I would say, in some cases. But you have caught a lot of flack on the trans bathroom issue. And people, so explain what that's like to the audience and why that's the case, what your position is. I don't want to miss it.
Right, so I would say the feminist position on this is that, we use the word gender to mean the social prescriptions and social stereotypes that men are supposed to follow and that women are supposed to follow. And so there's very different personality types you're allowed to have. You're only allowed to be interested in certain things. So men are supposed to be aggressive, and they're supposed to be active, and they're supposed to take charge of their destinies, and women are the treasure at the end of men's hunt for meaning, and what they get is a woman. And so women are the objects at the end of the day. And I grew up with a feminist mom who told me that that was bullshit, and that I was allowed to have a life and I should go for it. Whatever it was I wanted to do, I should blaze a trail and make it possible for the women who came after me. And that's the life that I've tried to lead. And it meant fighting those stereotypes. I'm not just a pretty object. It shouldn't matter particularly what I look like. It should matter the content of my character is what should matter. And that's true for all of us. And we all should have human rights, and that should be universal. And all the ways that women are treated as second-class citizens around the world, this just seems so basic to me in the year 2016. But what the transgenders are saying is that, no, that gender is actually real in the universe in some, cosmic way, and that you can have a, quote, feminine personality in a male body, and that that's wrong. And so you have to fix one or the other. And the more traditional societies say, well, if you have that personality in that body, the personality is wrong, and you should fight your personality and try to be more manly or try to be more submissive as a woman, one or the other, but your body's fine. And then the trans came along and said, well, actually, it's the opposite problem. If you have these personality traits, it's your body that's wrong, so you can change your body. So now they're inflicting all kinds of dangerous chemicals and really mutilating surgeries on younger and younger people to get them to fit into those same gender-prescribed boxes. Right. So it's no longer okay to be a teenage boy who may or may not be gay, who knows? They're young, they're experimenting, they're still trying to figure themselves out at that age. But if you like things that are stereotypically feminine, you are now going to be transed.
Right.
Instead of somebody just saying, it's okay to like dance, it's okay to like sparkly costumes.
I think that's a great
It's
point.
okay to like dolls. You can be a person who likes cuddly kittens and be a boy. It's okay. And instead, they are fast-tracked now onto things that are going to permanently change.
We have to go to a break relatively soon. I don't want to cut you off at that point. I think there's so many things initially that I disagree with, but I agree with you. It's a big irony to me that airbrushing these ideas of feminine beauty, horrible. Put Caitlyn Jenner and use all those same standards in a cover. She's stunning and brave, and it's just basically a walking stereotypical Barbie doll. That's what most trans women are. So this is an interesting discussion. Lear Keith will be with us after the break. Stay tuned. No more hate mail. Some hate, just some hate mail. Little hate. Welcome back to this very special celebrity edition of American Ninja Warrior. And next up we have Sean King. Bob, of course, of noted Black Lives Matter notoriety. He's a racist too. Perhaps self-loathing, he is an African-American. What leaves you guessing? Athletics should be right in his wheelhouse, Jim. I love my blackness! And yours! And yours! Hashtag and yours! And that should be on full display here with the quintuple step. Oh! Looking more sluggish than I anticipated. I'd agree, Jim. Well, Sean has a chance to redeem himself here, jumping to grab onto the rope as he slides across the... not quite the hops I was anticipating, Jim. And the next obstacle, of course, is jumping up to that rope to get... oh! Not quite the, ability for hops I'd anticipated, Bob. It's disconcerting, Jim. Well, Sean King now finding his footing before he moves on to the log rope. Let's hear it for blackness! Oh, there you go, and he seems to be doing a celebratory jig. Is that what that is, Jim? Not quite the dancing ability one would hope, Bob. Woo! I'm black! You know I'm black! Matter of fact, one could almost argue that if it weren't for him repeatedly saying he's black, you'll never know. That's right, Jim, but onto the log rope. And he seems to be taking these steps very carefully. Oh, and he falls into the water. And he appears to be drowning, Jim. Well, I regretfully stand corrected, Bob. He truly is embracing his inner blackness. Stay tuned for more Celebrity Edition American Ninja Warrior.
Wake up
be back. Our guest, just Google vegan myths and you'll find her, and of course you can send all your angry mail to her, not me, because let's see, I would have to deal with a little bit as a cis white male, right? We get it. I'm stuck. Go ahead, Leah Keys. We were talking about this. I want you to finish up that point, and then I'll have a couple questions.
So what they've done is they've taken everything that I've been fighting my whole life and they've rigidified it further. So if you have any of the personality characteristics of, what's assumed to be feminine in your male, now you have to have surgery and hormones to, quote, fix the problem.
Right.
And my point is there's no problem. There's nothing wrong with anybody can have any personality. It's just what we've got. And there's nothing wrong with liking sparkly stuff and cute kittens.
I would claim it goes further if they're dressing up like a lady and going on down to the nightclubs. Then let me go through with the full transition. They would argue that's more than personality. Yeah,
they would. And from this, I'm not going to budge. There's nothing wrong with anybody's body, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with anybody's genitals. And the fact that we are doing mutilations on people's genitals, no, it's horrifying. This is a human.
They are. I agree.
It's horrible. And this is being done on younger and younger people.
Well, the worst thing, this, estrogen. I've talked about this, and we had a clinical psychiatrist on who talked about this, who works with a lot of old people, and she says before we get on drugs, a lot of times testosterone replacement therapy, which you see now with old men, right away dopamine levels go up, their motivation levels go up. We know that testosterone is dopaminergic and it helps with depression. We know that estrogen increased in men causes depression, causes mental illness, and it's very cancerous. It's toxic. We know that, but for some reason we're saying, well, no, the science isn't in. But they're avoiding BPA to avoid xenoestrogens, which mimic estrogen in the body, and they want to inject it directly into my testicles, however. Well, cool.
Yeah, it's really horrible. And these kids are being chemically castrated, essentially.
Right.
And you put them on puberty blockers, and then you give them these cross-sex hormones. You are forever destroying their reproductive lives. And I don't know why that's okay to do to somebody who's 14. You can't even get a tattoo when you're 14. In some states, you can't pierce your ears. But you're allowed to forever destroy your reproductive organs? I don't know why there isn't a culture of horror going up the back of everybody's neck. I mean,
right.
What we are doing, it's back to the eugenics movement. I mean, we're sterilizing the unfit.
Right.
So if you don't fit into these certain social roles, well, we've got an answer for you. We'll sterilize you. We will do as much cosmetics to you as we can to make you fit.
Right.
And the whole goal to me was to overthrow that system, and instead they just rigidified it further. So that's problem number one. It's just philosophically, there's a huge divergence here in opinion.
Well, let me go to where we diverge in opinion, where you talk about the feminism issue. So obviously it's no secret I've been very anti-third wave feminist, particularly intersectional feminist. Now my wife is basically the CEO of a company. She works, she's on the road right now, she does very well, she's independent, she's a strong woman, she comes in the program. She can't stand quote-unquote feminism. So it's important to say that, this is because you hate women. No, it's because I love women. Now, you did mention something, for example, that men are taught that women is this sort of pot of gold at the end of the rainbow. Well, no, every boy needs a dragon to slay, a battle to fight, and a princess to save. That's how they're bred. It's not that they're objectifying women. It's not the same as, smack that ass video. It's being attracted and wanting a good woman, finding a wife that is good. And I think to conflate that with objectification of women, respectfully, causes more damage in young men. For example, if we talk about young men feeling bad, it's because we've told them you have to be aggressive and it's okay to like kittens. I don't think it's necessarily that. I think a big part of it now is we're told, you see this at HuffPo Salon, everyone's secretly gay, no one's straight. So guys get more concerned if it's okay to say, hey, I love you, Dad, are you secretly gay? Hey, I like cooking, are you secretly gay? And I think the left has really pushed a complex, particularly on young men, more than this idea of machismo, though both bear some responsibility.
Well, I think the biggest problem facing young men today, I'm not a young man, but just as an observer from the outside, is pornography. So
we've had a doctor on here on that. Have you had spoken with what's his name, Gary Wilson? Was it Gary Wilson? That's right. Your Brain on Porn? Yeah, he's talking about that. I don't know if you've read his stuff, but from